Welcome to this Touchdesigner tutorial. We're going to make this thing. So let's get started. We're going to start off by getting some chop data. So we're going to go to chops and get a pattern chop. Go ahead and drop that in. And then take the phase and do an abstime thingy. So abs, capital T, IME, dot seconds. And then for this one, I'm going to do 0.3. And then you'll see your wiggler wiggling. I'm going to up the amplitude to 1.5 just to get it a little bit bigger. And then we're going to go straight into tops. So do a chop 2. Chop to top. Click it. And then on common here, you're going to do the pixel format in 32-bit float. And that will give it some color. And then we're going to do a fit to get this into a resolution that is not paper thin. You'll go to common. And then whatever resolution you want. I'm going to do 720 by 1280. That'll get the screen like that. And then we will do a noise top. Noise. And then on the noise top, you want to do simplex 4D on the type. And then monochrome off. Then you've got some color. And then in the transform tab, on translate 4D, I'm going to do that same abstime function that I did on the pattern chop in the phase parameter. So it's a lot to type. You can just copy paste it. You can play with these values to see how fast it translates later. And you can also change the amplitude and the exponent. I am going to change this exponent to 3 and the amplitude to 1.5, so it's a little bigger. And then we're going to go ahead and copy paste this little chain here. I'll do one more. And then these are going to attach them to nulls. These are going to affect geometry instancing that we'll make next. So if now we make a box sop up here, and then go do a transform after that, and then just drop this down to 0.1. Just make it smaller. This will then go to a geometry comp. And then in the geometry comp, you'll do instancing. So this third tab is instancing. You'll grab this first null and put it on translate. And then the second one and put it on scale. And then the active, you'll put it on alpha, and then the rest RGB. Computer's slowing down a little bit, let's hope it holds up. Yeah, there we go. And then you'll start to see some, RGB. Scale, RGB. As I understand it, this changes the places of the geometry based on sort of what this noise is doing, which is being modulated by this. So then let's see what we're doing here a little bit. So I'm going to hit that arrow, split left and right, make this a little smaller if it lets me. There we go. And then just hit geometry viewer right there, and that will give me a little look at what we're doing here. Yeah, looking good. Let's put some color in it. You're going to make a ramp top, or gradient if you speak like a normal person. And just do some colors. I'll do blue and pink. And then for the phase, I'm going to do that abstime again. So I put it last in the transform on the noise. We'll probably do this one a little faster. Let's just do 1. So then that'll move this across. And then on the type, I like, just, this is just subjective, but I like to do circular and then mirror the edges. And then on interpolate notches, I do easy in, easy out. So then you just got a smooth little thing. And then on your geometry comp, on the second instancing tab, there's a color section right here. And we're going to ignore that and put this ramp or gradient on instance textures right here. Then you'll see some color. Now, it's going a little fast, so I want to slow that down a bit. So we're going to do 0.08 right here. And then, yeah, we'll leave it like that. That's a good rate. All right, then we're almost done. Do a PBR matte for your geometry. This will just give it a little more zhuzh. Let's do the change the roughness and metallic on here. Let's change the roughness to 0.1. That'll make it shiny. And then up the metallic to make it more shiny or a little bit brighter. So 1.5, do 1.5. And then the emit, I like to bring this up just to a little bit of dark color, and then you drag this straight onto your geometry, and then hit material right here, and then yeah. So now for rendering, a lot of ways to render it. This is just how I do it. First things first, get a background. So you'll hit 1 on the background color for alpha, and then we will put it in our resolution. So I was at 720 by 1280. And then to see this, we have to have a camera. So we'll do a camera comp. Get a light in there. And then we're starting to see stuff. So I'm going to put an out top coming out of that render top, and a little bit of space in between so we can put stuff. And I will change this to a top viewer, and then hit this little blue dot, and then so it's showing up here too. It'll do that if you right click, go to display, and then turn off backdrop tops. It'll take it away, and then you can see your little rendering right here. In the camera, we can back up a little bit. You hit that button, it's like a viewer you see in like Blender or some other 3D programs. You can get a view you like. We'll go right there for now. And then we're also going to do an environment light on this. So if we go to comp, environment light, and then we'll have to attach a HDRI file. So get a top, movie file in top, and then you can just Google HDRI map and download one of them. They're free. You can find free ones. And this is extra. You don't have to do this, but I think it looks nice. And then just drag that movie file onto the environment map. You see it gives it a little more depth. Now, in between render and the out, we're going to do just some small things. Get a level top, and then we'll put the black level at 0.4. Drops it down a little bit. And then you can play with these. I like to have control of that. And then I almost always do a bloom, just because it can be super cool to make things glow. For this, the one that changes a lot is the bloom fill. So I had 0.3 on my last one, but yeah, we'll do it a little bigger on this one just for fun. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it. Fun things you can do with this: you could change this chop to like an audio file. If you analyze audio and put it in here, it can control these motions, which is pretty sweet. You can also change your noises right here. These are the this is the heart of what's making this move around. So if you change amplitude, it'll make it bigger. So you can play with all these and it'll give it different effects, and you can get some wildly different looking things for this. I'm going to make this a little lighter. You can see it a tiny bit better. I'll do this as like a green. Yeah, so yeah, and after my playing around with this setup, this is what I got. You can put these little annotate things around it, which helps you move all of these sections, which is kind of nice. And that's just under component and then annotate somewhere in here. Yeah, it's fun to change these colors. You can change the period too, and that'll start making things pretty crazy as well. If you want to see audio analysis tied to this, throw in a comment. If you have any critiques, questions, anything like that, same deal. And cheers.